You're listening to the official start of your NFL week. You're listening to the opening whistle.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Opening Whistle podcast. I'm Albert Albanese.
I'm Avi Schiffman.
And guys, we're back after a pretty decent long layover. We've decided to finally be able to get our schedules together to come back and join forces in the middle of the season to start doing this podcast. There's obviously been a lot of stuff that's been going on. I guess what we'll do is we'll kind of do a little bit of a refresher. Give me some of the stuff that has been surprising you over this past season.
Well, obviously a lot has been surprising me. The Jets have 3 wins already. That was the most surprising.
Remember, I predicted they were going to win 4 games.
You did.
So I think they might do it tonight.
They might win. They might do it tonight. But that's really the most shocking thing to me at their start. But there's been a lot of surprises this year in the NFL. A lot of surprises. A lot of teams that were supposed to be good are not good. A lot of teams that aren't good. Surprising you. It's been a crazy season. And I have one question for you: who is the best team in the NFL right now? That's the biggest question, because I don't know.
I mean, if you got to put a gun to my head and say, if I had to pick one team, man, it's tough. I want to say the Chiefs, though. I really like the way the Chiefs are playing. You know me. I've always been a kind of a big Chiefs fan, but I think, especially, this is also the first year that Avi and I are both in the same fantasy league, so it's a really cool.
Yeah, and we're both doing well.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
and we've benefited from the Chiefs on our team.
Oh yeah,
I drafted Kareem Hunt
in the 10th round.
Yeah, which you killed it there. I drafted Tyreek,
but I didn't play him week 1. But I still won the week.
Yeah. So it's all good. You would have just had even more of a monster week than you already did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I have Alex Smith, who I picked up off of waivers and who was killing it this year.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill. So, I mean.
They're loaded,
They are. They're
on
so
offense,
loaded.
They are.
Travis Kelce, Ryan.
But the one issue is, Alex Smith. Can he get it done in a big game?
I think this is the year.
You think so?
You can't tell me.
Well, after they lose to Dallas this week, we'll see.
We're going to get into that in a little bit. But. My thing about Alex Smith is that I think they're finally giving him the opportunity to open up, his playbook and
I feel
throw
bad for
down
him.
the field.
He's so good. 16 touchdowns, no interceptions. It's impossible this time of the year. When do you ever see that? That does not happen ever.
And he still isn't getting as much credit as he deserves.
I agree, but you know what? He's not that guy that'll take you over the top. I don't see him as that guy.
I don't know. I think this is the year that he could do it. I think this is the first year where it looks like the Patriots have a little bit of they have a little bit of.
But they're still the Patriots.
They still are, but I mean they're not. Their defense is not what it always is. Right. Brady looks like he's, of course, still playing automatic, but injuries have kind of been hurting them a little bit. Gronk hasn't been healthy all season. Edelman being out has really left the door open for a lot. Amendola's trying to fill in for that spot, but it's hard to fill in for a guy like Julian Edelman.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And their running game is just it's 4 guys. It's like a 4-headed nightmare.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill actually hasn't been doing much this year. He hasn't been great.
Tyreek Hill's he's had a couple of really good games,
right?
And then he's had a couple of games where he's been quiet. But I think that's the Chiefs. I feel like
but they do have a great defense.
They do. Their defense is great, but
they're such a solid overall team. They really are, and that's a good point. They probably are. If I had to pick, they probably are the best team. I would say right now. I can't pick the Eagles. I can't say the Eagles are. Because they haven't really beaten anybody great.
I agree. They're kind of like the other team that was in my head, but that's kind of where I was. Right. I don't think they've beaten anybody good enough.
Right. So you got to. I think I agree with you there with the Chiefs, but it's this year which is good in the NFL. We like this, some parity. We like all this, stuff going on.
I do. I like that. There's no undefeated teams.
Right. But who would have thought? You have the Giants. Who would have thought what they become, which I'm loving. I'm loving.
I'm not going to sit here and say I don't either.
But you got the Giants, high expectations. The Buccaneers. What a disappointment this year.
You know how big I was on the Bucs at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, me too. I was also for sure.
And that's been disappointing.
That's been a mess.
The Titans. I told you Mariota was going to be the breakout quarterback this year, and he just
it's just crazy. Aaron Rodgers is done.
Yeah. Derek Carr was out for it was only one game after basically breaking his back, which is mind-boggling. But the Raiders aren't the team we thought they were going to be this year.
And the Dolphins are somehow 4-3? I don't know how they won 4 games.
With Jay Cutler as their quarterback, they won 4 games. I don't understand it.
And then today we got the big news, injury.
This is the I guess what we'll really start off with. Deshaun Watson suffers a season-ending ACL injury. He's going to have surgery. It was a non-contact injury.
Yeah, and didn't that happen to Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, it
Same
did.
thing. But
In
it's
practice, too.
season-ending injury for Deshaun Watson, but it's also season-ending for the Texans.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is what do you think the future of the
No
Texans
J.J.
are?
Watt, no
Deshaun Watson.
and now DeAndre Hopkins probably goes out the door, and Tom Savage is going to be the quarterback.
Oh my God, that's terrible. And
I mean, it's terrible.
Think about the streak
They were a
that-
solid team.
Hopkins had such a big game last week. Will Fuller had such a big game last week, and now look what we have. We're at a Tom Savage-led quarterback. I mean, is there anybody out there? I mean, I've been hearing a lot of rumors that because of the way Bortles has been playing, the Jaguars are looking at Kaepernick.
There's a broadcaster out there, former quarterback of the Cowboys. Who's itching to play, I'm sure.
I mean,
But he's not coming back.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's kind of happy, and this is kind of the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
They should not have let go of Brock Osweiler. What a
I
mistake.
agree.
What a mistake.
I agree. Imagine that. And Osweiler starting this week for the Broncos.
I know. Oh God.
I don't know
Goes
what
from
to
bad
expect.
to worse for them.
Yeah, seriously. Oh man, that team was just so set with the quarterback position.
But
for so
the
many
Texans
years.
were legitimate favorites to win that division. I think they were going to be they were going to win.
Absolutely.
The Jaguars are good. That division is surprising this year, actually.
Yeah, I mean the Jaguars aren't terrible.
But they were
Blake
probably the
Bortles is
favorites at
terrible.
this point. With Deshaun Watson, the way he's playing, look what they did with
been a
Seattle.
monster.
What he did against
Yeah,
Seattle.
he's
It's
been a
impressive.
monster.
Yeah.
I mean, with Tom, I mean that and fantasy wise, that just takes a big step down on every player on that team. I mean, Tom Savage is not going to be throwing the ball like Deshaun Watson was.
Right.
He's not going to make make the plays that Deshaun Watson was. I guess the only guy
He's terrible. He's terrible.
He is. I get the only guy that you can say maybe gets a little bit of rub from this is their running back.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Lamar Miller.
Lamar Miller.
Well,
yeah.
I traded him in fantasy. I'm not a big fan of his.
I'm not a big fan either.
I was too stacked at running back anyway. I had McCoy and Hunt, so
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't. I have Leonard Fournette, Carlos Hyde, and
you go.
Melvin
there you go.
Gordon.
But I got McCaffrey
So-
back for Lamar Miller.
I mean,
which he's
yeah.
not been great, but
Yeah, but I mean,
I just didn't like Lamar Miller, I guess.
I have Lamar Miller in one of my other leagues,
Yeah.
and he's doing okay.
It's
but,
just the Texans. They just got hit hard this year,
they
losing
really
their two
did.
best players.
Yeah, they really did. It hurts. But I mean, I guess we can move on to want to talk about running backs. So I know you're the Cowboys fan in the room. Ezekiel Elliott gets finally looks like he's going to serve that 6-game suspension. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I'm not happy with it, because I don't think. Listen, there's no proof of anything happening. I'm not going to get into that because you never know what happened.
Right.
But there were incidences, but obviously I'm not happy about it. But the Cowboys, have two capable running backs, 3 actually. I don't know about this Rod Smith guy. I don't know much about him. But Alfred Morris, he showed some signs this year.
Yeah. It looks like he's the guy. It looks like he's going to start there.
Listen, if their offensive line can block and make some holes, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously Ezekiel Elliott is their MVP probably,
Yeah.
or him and Dak. But they can be. I think they're going to be okay. They're playing Kansas City this week, which is not great.
Yeah, I mean,
But
either way, I mean, you were looking at.
I'll be
Zeke
happy.
Being bottled up a little
I'll
bit.
be happy. I'll be happy with 3-3 for over 6 games. I'll be happy with that. Listen, I want to be in the playoffs, but I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be okay. If Dak has to step it up, though.
Absolutely.
He has to step it up.
I was always a big proponent on Alfred Morris. I always thought he kind of got a little bit of a raw deal. He was splitting carries with Matt Jones for a little while. I think he was a much better, more talented running back. Apparently, they didn't think so, and then they dealt him. He went to Dallas. I never thought he deserved to be a backup running back. I always thought he deserved to kind of be in the mix. I think this is a really big couple of games for Alfred Morris. Over this 6 games, if he can prove that he's going to play well,
Right.
there's some teams that are going to take a chance on him next year.
Right. I agree, but it doesn't start off well against Kansas City. I don't like the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's no matter what, it's hard.
Like I said, the Cowboys have a tough schedule coming up, but it looks like Zeke's going to be suspended for 6 games, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Like this is finally happening. It's the worst time of the year. I thought it would drag on until next year.
I was
like
kind
the
of
Tom Brady
hoping.
thing,
Yeah, I was
but-
kind of hoping it would, just because I feel like the first 6 games, him not being there is a lot better than than a middle of the
But you
season.
know what? Just
when
get it
you're-
over. I wish it. Whatever. I wish
Yeah.
it would have happened early in the year, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is like the worst time of the year for this to happen.
I agree.
But the whole system's screwed up in my opinion anyway. How it works with suspensions, it's appealing and this and that. It's just,
They
they got to figure something out there.
Yeah, they got to either stick to their guns or they have to really investigate fully and make sure that investigation is done before somebody. Because in essence, look, let's just say this. It goes on. This drags on. There's a court. There's court hearings, and it turns out that he was cleared of all wrongdoing. Now you just suspended a guy for 6 games for something that he clearly didn't do, and I think that's not fair.
Right.
I mean, in an instance like this, it is. I mean, look, the Tom Brady thing, if they wanted to suspend him because they felt like they had enough evidence because of the whole Deflategate deal, okay, then I get it. That's not going to go to a court of law.
Right.
This is something that and I mean, there are certain points where I guess you could sit there and say, well, what if he did do it and he got suspended for 6 games? What does that do? Right. Do you think? I mean, I honestly, if he did do it, he's going to jail.
But he was never charged with anything.
Exactly.
And I hate that Roger Goodell thing. This should be dealt by law enforcement. He shouldn't make the decisions on this.
I agree. Well, I think we can both talk about how much we hate Roger Goodell.
Right. I agree there.
I guess the other really big thing that happened over the past week is the trade deadline. Three huge trades.
Very big trades. I mean, the J.H.I. one, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I guess that, they were just done with him. They had to have been. I guess he wasn't happy there. They weren't happy with him, but he went to the Eagles. For nothing. It's kind of mad.
A 4th-round draft pick.
This is terrible for the Cowboys because they get a great running back now, and then the Cowboys lose their great running back.
I agree.
And they just get better, the Eagles.
What's your opinion on his fit in
they lost Jason Peters, which is a big loss for them. But I think it's an amazing fit. Listen, they're 7-1. Carson Wentz is playing like an MVP this year.
He is.
He's been great. Their defense has been really good, and they add a running back, who last year had how many 200-yard rushing games? He was amazing.
The kid's been a monster.
And they got him, and they got Blunt.
They have LeGarrette Blunt.
They're very
and even like their smaller backs are playing really good. Smallwood's been playing well. They have a lot of talent at that position. I think this just adds another wrinkle and another layer onto what the Eagles are. And I think this is it. I think the fans have finally been clamoring for it for years. They want to see the Eagles make the playoffs. They want to see them make a push. They want to see them be like a dominant team like they were a few years ago. This is the right way to go. They have the right quarterback, and now they have one of the more talented running backs in the NFL.
Right. Well, I don't see how the Cowboys even. I'll admit it. I don't see the Cowboys catching. The Cowboys are going for a wild card this year. They still have to play the Eagles twice, but I do not see us beating them twice.
I completely agree.
Splitting. I could even see us losing 2 to them because the Zeke lost, and he's not going to be there for the Eagles either.
Yeah.
So. And we played them the last game of the year, but the Cowboys are going for a wild card this year. But the Eagles pretty much have that division wrapped up, in my opinion.
It looks like it, and this is a big deal. With Jay Ajayi being there, Carson Wentz, like you said, has been playing amazing. This is just one of those situations where I predicted in the beginning of the year, I thought that the what am I thinking? The Redskins had a really good chance at making a run at this division. I'm shocked. I was shocked that the Eagles were starting to play this well, and this just makes it seem like they might be the untouchable team in the NFC right now.
Well, they made the right move trading for him in the draft, drafting Wentz.
Yeah.
They made the right call. It looks like, it's still early, but it looks like he's going to be a stud.
This is his sophomore season. He's playing so well.
Yeah.
All right, so another really big trade. And this was really surprising to me too. The Panthers trading Kelvin Benjamin to the Bills, and they got a good amount, I guess, back for him, a 3rd and a 7th round pick. But I just didn't think, I thought it feels like the Panthers are giving up now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And all the stuff going on with Cam Newton now, he's been, sulking all year. He's not having when things aren't going well for him. He just turns into a little bit of a crybaby.
I was going to say kind of a crybaby.
A little bit. The year he was MVP, he's all happy. After press conference, he had a great year. But Kelvin Benjamin, I like the fit for the Bills. They added a big receiver.
You want to talk about, you talked about how the Eagles, the J.J. thing hurts. That hurts for the Jets. Look, by and far in that division, the Jets aren't out right now. They can be 500, right. And if they kind of made a couple of bigger moves during the trade deadline, which I thought. Getting 3 wins at this point in the season, I thought maybe they'd go out and try to, maybe make a big move, and they didn't do anything, which, I guess it is what it is. This is still technically a rebuilding year.
Right.
But the Bills getting Kelvin Benjamin, that just adds just another weapon to Tyrod Taylor, and this replaces Sammy Watkins, and Sammy Watkins wasn't really even playing that well last year in Buffalo.
Right.
And this is an upgrade from Sammy Watkins midseason with the Bills playing pretty good football.
Right, listen, I like what the Buffalo's doing. They're building a pretty solid team.
They are, and a lot of people didn't trust Tyrod Taylor, and I'm sold on the guy.
Listen, he's got the weapons.
Yeah.
He's played really well actually for the last few years. But he's not a guy also that's going to lead you to a Super Bowl.
Look, there have been some less than talented guys who have won Super Bowls.
Right. Only very very little, very few.
It's rare. It is rare.
Very
I
rare.
That.
But they're building something really good, and they're definitely they look like a playoff team right now. Buffalo. They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time.
No, they haven't.
What is it, 2000? Is that right?
I think that sounds about right. I know that the Jets actually have made the playoffs sooner than the Bills have. So
and the Browns too?
I don't think so.
I heard a crazy stat last week? Oh, I did tell you this.
You did, but this is great to repeat, though, and it stood true again this Sunday.
I could not believe it. What is it? 20? I forgot. 28 straight games.
I think it's 28 straight Sundays.
They have lost.
The Browns have not won a game.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's a mind-boggling.
That is really, and football is like a Sunday game. Wow.
Exactly.
That's just Browns though.
I feel for Cleveland. The Deshaun Kaiser situation seems to have gotten out of their hands already. Ken Hogan being their quarterback now. But another team who is winless but really made a huge move out of nowhere with the 49ers trading for Jimmy Garoppolo.
I love it.
And
what a move.
But let me this is I hate to do this, and oh God, I have to praise.
I want to hear this.
I have to praise Bill Belichick and the Patriots front office. They decided at the beginning of this year they were not going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
And they got offered a ton for him.
They got offered
first round, second round. Yeah.
And then they decided midway through the season, you know what we can do? We can trade him to San Francisco, had the 49ers drop Brian Hoyer, pick up Brian Hoyer for absolutely nothing, and still get a second-round pick from the 49ers.
Classic Patriots.
They're just they make these deals, and they're going to come out. Whoever that second-round pick is, watch this person. This kid's going to be a monster.
Think they're going to draft a quarterback?
Why?
Right, that's true.
Brady said he wants. Brady said he wants to play until he can't play anymore.
You're right. Why? He's 40. Why? Yeah, right. You're right. He's been in better shape than half the quarterbacks in the league.
He is.
It's unbelievable.
He's not human.
Wow.
And but what do you think of the fit for Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco?
Oh, I love it. Listen, we don't know what he is. Honestly, we don't know. He played how many? 3 games in his career?
Not even 2.
2.
He got hurt.
We don't know, but I think he's going to be good over there in the West Coast. He looks like I don't know. He's got the look of a good quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy, but he's got the look.
He's got the poise in the pocket. He does remind me a lot of a little bit more of an athletic version of Brady.
Right.
He's played underneath Tom Brady for this long of a period of time. I mean, this is just one of those situations where you look at it and you think, well, they just made every right move.
It looks like look at Aaron Rodgers. He sat for a while too
behind Brett Favre, who was my favorite quarterback of all time. And one of the guys who I feel is one of the more talented guys. And look, Aaron Rodgers plays a lot like Brett Favre. He's a gunslinger. He's got great accuracy.
Right.
He's got good poise in the pocket, and I think Garoppolo can show that in San Francisco.
And he's a free agent after this year.
Right.
So they're going to get a good sample of what he is.
He's not starting this week.
Right.
I think
right, he's not starting this week.
Yeah, so I mean, they're going to give him probably a week to learn that offense, and I can't see them not starting for the last 6 games.
And if he's even decent, I mean, if he's good, if he's decent, they're going to give him a big contract, a long-term contract.
Absolutely. Look at the contracts.
Unless he stinks it up.
Yeah. Look at the contracts guys like Brock Osweiler got.
And if not, they can draft a quarterback, which they're going to get a top 3 pick.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about an undefeated a team that didn't win a game so far that I feel bad for.
I'm very surprised by that. Really, I am. I thought the Jets for sure were the worst team.
So did I, and I actually thought that the 49ers
they
played close
in
most of their games. They really haven't been blown out too many times.
Just like the Jets.
Yeah.
Only one game the Jets have been blown out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where I think
it is surprising.
That it's really surprising that they don't have a win. They have a talented team.
They do.
Eric Garçon's a good wide receiver.
And I think Shanahan's he's going to be a good coach. I think he's going to be a good coach.
But I mean, they have Garçon. They looked like they were shopping Carlos Hyde for a little bit, which I was surprised about. But I mean, his touches are kind of getting a little bit vultured by Matt Breida for a little bit. But I mean, I guess they're trying to see what they have with him.
Right.
If they don't want to bring back Carlos Hyde next year, which I don't understand. I think Carlos Hyde is so much more underratedly talented. He reminds me of Arian Foster. Just like in that talent pool, like people always thought, like they were like those preeminent running backs, and it feels like there was like that number 2, number 3 tier where Carlos Hyde and Arian Foster always seem to fall, but they always play well.
Right.
Frank Gore is another one who is like in that kind of a category.
Always, consistent.
Just a consistent guy. Yeah. Right. Okay. So maybe he's not going to get you 100 yards every week, but he's going to get you a good 75, 80. He's going to make plays. He can catch balls out of the backfield. And I think that sets up really good for a guy like Garoppolo because he has a good running back to go off of. He's got weapons. The 49ers aren't terrible. I just hope that their offensive line doesn't screw him over, and that's my biggest issue with Garoppolo. We can see how good he is. If he can throw the ball.
Right. Well, that division, used to be, it was the Seahawks and everybody else.
Right.
Now you got the Rams, who are...
Hey, the Rams are looking good.
Jared Goff, we still don't know what he is.
We don't, but he's played a lot
This reminds me a lot of Sean McVay. He reminds me a lot of Chip Kelly's first few years. I don't know. He's an offensive coach, offensive genius.
Yeah.
And what happened to Chip Kelly? It kind of reminds me of that. I don't know what he's going to be, McVay. This could be,
I mean, look, as of right now, if I'm the Rams, I'm considering so far the first half of the season a great success.
Oh yeah,
nobody ever thought the Rams were going to be as good as they were, and they're playing really well.
5-2,
and the Seahawks aren't the team that they were either.
No.
And we talk about the Patriots.
They're playing. Russell Wilson's having. He's playing.
Russell
great.
Wilson had a great
no
game
offensive
last
line. He really
no offensive line. That guy had a monster game last week.
Yeah, he's been great.
I mean, the Seahawks are always going to be, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Patriots. They're always going to be competitive in every game. They're always going to be the favorite to win, no matter what happens.
Right.
But that division, next year, Jimmy Garoppolo proves that he's pretty good. The 49ers go around, they build that team around him.
Right.
It could be a really good pickup for them.
And it looks like the Cardinals now are just falling downhill.
Yeah,
they're going to need a quarterback eventually.
With Carson Palmer being out again, they really need to start looking to the future.
Another quarterback went down.
Yeah, I mean, and
he's old.
He is, and Drew Stanton. I mean, I just don't understand why Drew Stanton keeps his job as the backup there every time Carson Palmer goes down, which happens often.
Yeah.
Drew Stanton seems to get a shot. And it likens me of the dynamic of a few years ago when Chad Pennington was the quarterback for the Jets and Kellen Clemens was the backup. Kellen Clemens kept getting opportunities to come in and play, and he never progressed and never did well, but yet he kept getting signed as their quarterback.
Right. Well, they made mistakes because I heard in the draft, this year, teams passed up on Deshaun Watson. And I remember saying that Deshaun Watson reminded me a lot of Dak Prescott. He had that winning mentality. He was a winning quarterback. But a lot of teams, they're a team also that had a chance to make a move for a quarterback, but they really did not need to start building for the future.
I agree.
Already, David Johnson goes down.
Yeah,
Fitzgerald's
that's a big blow. Fitzgerald's. I mean, how much longer is he going to have?
You're right. He's still great. He's still great, but that's a team that's going. I think they're going downhill. A lot of teams are on the rise though in the NFC West.
I agree. And Martellus Bennett announced he was going to retire at the end of this year. I mean, you see somebody like that, and you look at a guy like Larry Fitzgerald who's played high impact, big football for all the years that he has. How much longer can he go? I mean, he's not showing any signs of slowing down.
I wish he could have won a Super Bowl though. He deserves one.
I agree.
That Super Bowl he had against the Steelers,
and he's not going anywhere. He's going to be a Cardinal for life.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I just don't, unless they get the next Carson Wentz in the draft, they're not going to go.
Well, this year's the year for quarterbacks.
It is.
That's what they say.
They have to, but they're going to have to trade up. I mean, they won. It's a shame when you see. It's been a lot of Jets fans. They've won too many games now. Maybe
we'll see what the record is. At the end of the year, they can. Yeah. There's like 5 legit quarterbacks this year, so we'll see.
I mean, it could be. All right, so we have. I mean, this is gonna be a little unfair. I mean, I think me and you both had the same idea about what was going to go on this week, and we're going to do predictions. We're going to talk about a game that's going on right now, which with 15 minutes in the second quarter, a little under 15 minutes, it's tied at 7, the Jets and the Bills. So I guess it's fair. Oh. The game's tied. So I guess it's a little bit fair, which I'm pissed off about because the Jets are just winning, and now I'm going to pretend like I'm not upset about it.
But Zay Jones, touchdown.
Just look, it's Safarian Jenkins.
You need McCoy to score.
But I think me and you both said the same thing. This was a prime game for an upset, and the Jets beating the Dolphins.
Right. I am in a pick'em pool. I am in a pick'em pool, and one other thing, I did pick Buffalo. But, whatever. This seems like that game where the Jets, Jets have been competitive all year.
They have been.
They can go either way. These division games, you never know.
And for some reason, I just feel like the Bills don't play well against the Jets in Thursday night games. We were here last year for the Thursday night game.
Right, I remember that.
And
That's right.
I think the Bills. I think they
Bills
won
the high scoring game.
It was a high scoring game.
That was early on in the year.
It was like week 2 or something like that. Yeah. And that was but I think that the Jets, they have look, if they can get their guys going right, Robbie Anderson gets going. Safarian Jenkins needs to be a part of that offense more. I don't understand how he's not their number 2 target right now.
And we didn't get to talk about it, but that horrible call against the Patriots. That's just
all right. So you're a Cowboys fan. You're objective here. What was your opinion on that?
I mean, from what I remember from the play, when I saw the replay, I didn't watch it live, but I saw the replay, and all I thought of right away was the ball. He was still in bounds. The ball came back into his arms, if I remember, right?
Yes, it did.
And he was in the end zone.
Yeah.
What was the call? I don't know what the call was.
So the call was
the ball was out of bounds. Ball was like
he fumbled the ball out of the end zone,
but it came right back into his arms, and he was in bounds, right?
Right. And I think what they said is that when he fell out of the end zone, he didn't have the ball completely secure. Now, look, this is the
Dez catch. Oh, I'll never get over that one.
Look, this is going to be the one that as Jets fans we're not going to get over. And I know it wasn't even that big of a deal, but it's a big deal because they could have tied that game against the Patriots. They could have won that game. They absolutely could have won that game.
They would have won that game if it was a touchdown.
My thing was that it was this. Did the ball come out of his hands? Yes. It fell. He picked it back, pulled it in, and it looked to me like he had enough control before he fell into the end zone. His back hit the pylon, and then he fell out of bounds. So I just don't understand how, you're saying he didn't have full control of the ball, and when his back hit the pylon, nothing about that call made sense. They even tried to defend it afterwards, but they had the two former head referees from years prior break that play down, and both said no, they blew that call. They had the announcer sitting there and saying, "Hey, they blew that call." And you know what? I was pissed. I had to go on social media afterwards. Stupidest mistake you could make, because there are just so many vocal Patriots fans that are like, "Well, nope, that's the rule," and blah blah blah. No, that's the rule when your quarterback is Tom Brady and you're the New England Patriots. And then we can talk about the week after, where there were a whole bunch of other controversial calls made by the same referee crew, with the Patriots playing again. And it just, when you sit there and you look at things, things just feel like collusion.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's the same. Look, and I have said this for years. When you're a preeminent quarterback and you have a successful franchise, you get a lot more calls than other people do. Look, even the Cowboys, even when they weren't good, got a little bit more calls than other teams did. Right. Brett Favre got them all the time. Peyton Manning got them all the time. Yep. When you're at a certain level, that guy who gets hit,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, that guy who gets hit, on a rookie quarterback. If Josh McCown got hit in the exact same way as Tom Brady did, they probably wouldn't throw the flag, but they throw the flag for Brady.
Right.
But that's the way the game is. Yeah.
Right. It's not right. Listen, it's not right, but they got to fix that. I mean, you have it right in front of you. You have it looking right at it. Just get it right. And they called it a touchdown originally.
They did, and that was my biggest thing.
That's the worst thing.
Everybody kept talking about the play in itself, and I said, please show me the indisputable evidence that you had to overturn the call on the field, which was a touchdown. If that was not ruled a touchdown, if that was ruled a fumble out of the end zone originally, then yes, I could have seen it. But I just don't see enough. I didn't see enough in that replay to turn that play over, and that's what got me the most pissed off.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're preaching to the choir. I know, from bad calls.
Let me collect myself. Let's get back into what we're doing. So, all right. So I'm predicting the Jets are going to win. I think the Jets win. A decent game. I'd say maybe like a 24-20.
Man, the Jets have to stop. They have to stop trying to win games, because they're going to screw themselves. That's Albert.
They're going to win.
They're going to win 6-7 games. They're going to get like the 12th pick in the draft.
I keep joking around with my friends, and everybody keeps because I have a bunch of friends who are Jets fans, and I'm like, Jets going to be 8-8 this year. Watch, Jets going to be 8-8.
They need to get one of those. I mean, they have to be right with. They have really. They're going quarterback. They have to go quarterback this year.
How could you
right?
not? How could you not?
They're going quarterback. But they have to get it right this time.
They do.
They really have to get it right.
It's not. I see now. For me, I think that this is a big year for quarterbacks. I know a lot of Jets fans are probably not going to agree with me on this, and I'm probably going to take a lot of heat from people from my friends who listen to this, because it's an opinion I've had for the past couple of weeks. Okay, Josh McCown is quarterbacking a really subpar team and playing decently well. They have Bryce Petty, who is unproven at this point. He hasn't started enough games to get a full set. And we haven't even seen what Hackenberg has.
Yeah.
So, if the Jets, let's just say they bolster their offensive line in the draft. Let's say they go out, they get a whole bunch of guys on the offensive line. They have so much cap spaces. They can sign a bunch of rookies, really plaster up that offensive line to make it so that those quarterbacks are pretty safe. They keep Bilal Powell, and they get a decent running back and a decent wide receiver. No matter what happens, no matter who's throwing the ball to them, that team could be another 8-8 team. But at the very least, even if you missed out on one of those preeminent quarterbacks, you built an offensive line for the future. Their defense is set. They have a solid defense. Those guys are the guys that they picked up this year aren't going to get any worse than they will now. I think that this is that year where I wouldn't go quarterback.
Okay.
And it's only because they're
not going to go anywhere.
They draft a quarterback every year.
Right, and they're not going to go anywhere next year anyway.
They're not. So why not wait and see who that
or even you have Bilal Powell. I was going to say a running back. If you have a really good running back.
No, and I'm okay with that. I would like to see Bilal Powell as the change of pace back. And that's not saying that Matt Forte isn't playing well, but I think Matt Forte is not a Jet next year.
No, absolutely not. He's at the end of the hill.
He's at the. Somebody will pick him up, give him a shot to be to be a third down back somewhere.
Like the Alfred Morris of the or McFadden.
Yeah. Even if a team doesn't have a really good starting quarterback, do they need a good pass catching back on third down?
And listen, I give it up for Todd Bowles. He's done a great job this year.
Yeah. I mean, everybody sat there and thought
last year. I don't blame Todd Bowles last year at all. I don't.
I don't either.
I blame that they brought back Ryan Fitzpatrick. I said there's no way that was the dumbest move they could have done.
I mean, it was the best and the worst move they could have made. It really was. They were damned if they did and damned if they didn't.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Because Geno Smith wouldn't have brought him to any higher than Fitzpatrick did.
Right.
I never believed in Geno Smith, not from day one.
Right.
And that's just me as a Jet fan. I take a lot of heat for that because a lot of people actually like Geno.
I actually didn't think Geno was that terrible. As much as people said, I didn't think he was that bad.
I just didn't see anything in him.
They did go 8-8 with him.
They did, but I just didn't see. But that year they went 8-8. They also pulled him for Michael Vick.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people forget about that. That's what everybody's argument is. Because I was a big proponent on. I'm a big Mark Sanchez fan. I actually don't. I never disliked Sanchez. He did enough. He was a good game manager. He did enough to
the butt fumble just
Yeah, that's going to be what he's.
Right now he's been a backup. Now where is he in Chicago?
He's in Chicago. Yeah, the third string quarterback in Chicago. Yeah. And we talk about success stories. How about Chicago?
They've been surprising again. Look at them.
And there's another rookie
Their
quarterback.
Defense have been great. Yeah, Trubisky. He's young. He's raw. He's barely playing college. Right. He's been good.
He's playing decent enough for what they.
Decent enough. Right.
Because this was one of those.
And
things
he's only going to get better. He's got to only get better.
And this is one of those things where they traded up for him, and a lot of Chicago fans were a little bit pissed off. I think they kind of take that back a little bit. I mean, my thing was look at Buffalo. The Broncos and Paxton Lynch.
Right.
What a bust that's going to turn out to be.
Oh yeah, thank God the Cowboys didn't get him because that's what Jerry Jones wanted originally. Thank God.
I mean, look, we don't know. He got hurt. So we don't know what the situation is. Maybe he could have played pretty well this year. Maybe they wouldn't have traded for Osweiler and given him a shot.
Right.
But I mean, at this point, it's looking like a bust to me.
Right. Well, the Broncos are in trouble. They're gonna need a quarterback too.
Yep. Absolutely.
At some point, maybe Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
I was surprised the Cousins didn't go anywhere.
I don't know what to deal with. What's going to be with Cousins? Who knows? The Niners were high on him, but I don't know if they're going to want him now.
No. I mean, not after they got Garoppolo. That was going to be who they were going to trade for. That was the big rumor.
I guess the Redskins are going to be stuck with Cousins.
I think.
Cousins is really good. He's good. He's really good, but he's not gonna. He's another guy that's not going to take you over the top. He's like an 8-8 quarterback. He's a 9-7. He's not. He's good.
I can see him going 10-6. I think he's got, if he has the right talent around him, he can go 10-6. Right. But I mean, other than that, I just don't see him being.
He can be really great, play great, and then he could just be terrible.
Yeah.
He's one of those quarterbacks.
All right. Well, let's go to the next game. All right. So I said, I said my prediction: the Jets are going to win 24-20. What do you think now? I mean, we're still at 7-7.
Well, let's see the score. Is it still 7-7?
Yeah, I just saw. You just up on your phone. So.
Well, it's impossible to predict this game. I don't know. I originally think Buffalo's going to win. But I'm going to change my pick to the Jets.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Jets.
All right. There we go. I like that. All right. 2 for the Jets. I like that.
There you go.
Okay. The next game we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the Sunday games. It's Bucs and Saints. Saints are home, and the Saints have been playing surprisingly well. Their defense have been playing surprisingly well.
I'm happy. Drew Brees. I love Drew Brees. He hasn't been Drew Brees this year.
Right.
But their defense has been surprising. They were supposed to be terrible defense.
Their defense is always terrible.
Good for them. They're a solid team this year.
Kamara has been playing so well.
Yeah.
Ted Ginn has been a surprising
pickup. Him up in fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, I have Michael Thomas, and he's having the on-again, off-again games, but I mean, he's still a threat.
Listen, they're a sleeper team.
Yeah, and I mean, you have Kamara, Ingram. I mean, they're playing.
they can win that division, which is
plausible.
They get home game.
Absolutely plausible.
They can win a playoff game. They're at home. They're unbeatable at home.
Yeah.
Really.
Which they are this week.
Right, and they're playing the Bucs, who are just.
Well, I mean, the big news out of the Bucs is that for the past 2 games, Jameis Winston has thrown in practice. Okay. Looks like he's going to start. But the Bucs aren't the team that everybody thought they were going to be.
No, we thought Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans was going to be like the best 1-2 tandem. Deshaun Jackson's done nothing this year.
Yeah,
I regret drafting him actually.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I have him in my other league too.
He's done nothing. Yeah, he's done nothing this year.
And I mean, Mike Evans is still Mike Evans, but I mean, how much can you really be Mike Evans when Jameis Winston hasn't been the Jameis Winston everybody thought he was?
That's true. This smells to me. I just think about the coach, and I think that if they continue this year, I think he's going to be gone. Dirk Cutter.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
Too.
I think so.
I've never been a big proponent of Dirk Cutter. I never really liked him too much.
Yeah.
I think
as a quarterback's coach.
Exactly, and you would think that.
I think Jameis wanted him right as coach.
I think so. I think so, and it's not playing out.
They need make a change if it's going to continue like this.
I agree,
because it doesn't look like they're going anywhere this year.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, how do you?
That division's very winnable, also with the Falcons being. Falcons. Look at the Falcons, Panthers. The Saints are the best team in that division right now by far.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy to even say that.
And if they lose to the Saints this week, they're
Yeah, I think think that's the end of it.
Kiss it goodbye. What are they, 3-5 now, the Bucks?
I think so.
Yeah.
And here's my big thing is I mean, if I'm going to pick this game, I'm going to pick the Saints. I'm going to pick them by a decent margin.
Yeah.
I think that they'll score probably like at least near 30 points.
Yeah.
And I absolutely don't think the Bucks are going to be anywhere close.
Right. No, I agree with you there. So we both have the Saints.
All right, so we're 2-2, 2 for 2 this so far. Falcons at Panthers. Now this game is interesting. The Falcons are coming off a win.
Yeah, big game for both teams.
Yeah, the Panthers. But the Panthers aren't the Panthers that they have. This will be their first game without Kelvin Benjamin.
And the Panthers are 5-3. We forget also, but it doesn't seem like they're a 5-3 team.
They seem like they're 3-5 too. They don't seem like they've won as many games as they have.
Very strange. Yeah.
And even though they're in Carolina, you know what? I'm going to say it. I like Atlanta in this game.
Do you?
I like Atlanta's running game against the Carolina defense. I think that when Matt Ryan gets back to form, which it looked like last week, he started getting there. I mean, I know they play the Jets, but the Jets don't have the bad. It's not their defense that's the problem. The Jets have a good defense, and they beat a good Jets defense.
They did in the rain, in the pouring rain.
In the pouring rain.
Yeah.
In a game where they lost. I mean, he lost 2 fumbles himself.
Right.
He wasn't getting good handoffs from his center. A lot of things went on in that game that the Falcons should have lost that game, and they won it.
Right, I agree.
And my biggest saying in football is good teams always find a way to win. And the Falcons looked like a good team last week, and I think they continue with this week.
They did. This is a tough game to pick. I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, I I guess we'll see.
I think Cam has to, eventually just play like he did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. I think this might be the week to do it.
It's a big game.
I mean,
for
they
both
lost
teams.
Benjamin. It's Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen's still out.
He's still out. Right. It's time for McCaffrey. Their defense is good. I think.
Yeah, they are.
But I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm just gonna say Cam Newton has a big game.
All right.
They're gonna beat the Falcons. Falcons, I think, are. I don't know what they are. Who knows what the Falcons are?
I don't know what
the Falcons are.
I don't know what they are.
That's why I'm gonna pick the Panthers. The Falcons could have easily lost. To the Bears this year.
They could have lost to the Jets.
They could have lost to the Jets. They could have easily started off 1-3.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the Panthers in this game.
All right. Next one is the Rams at the Giants. I mean,
this is an easy game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care that the Giants are home,
and they're coming off a bye.
Yeah, I don't care about that either.
No, I don't.
I don't care at all. I think
the Rams are coming off a bye too.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff is going to play well. I think this is going to be a huge game for that Rams defense. I think they're gonna beat up Eli Manning. Manning's got nobody to throw to anymore. Sterling Shepard's playing, but I mean, their number 3 receiver became their number 1 receiver.
The Giants are 1-6. It really does.
It makes me happy too.
It does, because you know what? I'm sick. I'm just tired of Eli Manning not. I know he doesn't have the weapons right now. I'm tired of him not getting any of the blame for this, and he doesn't get any blame for this.
No,
he should. He's not good anymore.
Every Giants fan,
he's not good anymore. He hasn't been good for the last 3 years.
Every Giants fan is the Eli's elite. Eli's elite. No, he's not. Yes,
I've always said this.
He won 2 Super Bowls, but they were the 2 luckiest Super Bowls I've ever seen won.
Led the league in interception 3 times. He's not in the same boat. In a quarterback, Tony Romo's a better quarterback than Eli Manning. He is.
Oh,
he always has been.
This is the classic Dallas versus New York Giants argument.
No,
Look, my problem is that the only reason why I get close to leaning towards Eli Manning in that debate is because at least Eli didn't get hurt.
Right, he hasn't, and he won 2 Super Bowls.
He won the 2 Super Bowls.
You say if you were one was lucky, and
they both were lucky.
They both were lucky.
They both were lucky. I'm sorry.
Sick of him.
Both of them immaculate.
But I don't get why doesn't he get any of the blame? It's time to move on from him. Maybe you start thinking about the future.
I think the Giants fans are starting to look at that.
They have to, and they're going to get the way it's looking now. They're going to get a top 5 pick.
Oh yeah, and
sure.
And Ben McAdoo sucks as a head coach.
Terrible head coach.
A new head coach.
He's terrible from day one. You see the guy. Look at the guy. He looks like a goofball.
He looks like a
His
pedophile.
Mustache.
Yeah,
he does.
I hate him. But taking out the fact that we both hate the Giants,
yes.
Even if I liked the Giants, even if I was a Giants fan,
sick of him.
It would be crazy to think that even at home they would.
Another
beat the
thing,
Rams.
they came out with a poll, the most overrated quarterback, I think, and Eli Manning was number 1. There's a poll.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, if it's not Eli, who else is it? Blake Bortles.
And I've always said about Odell, he's great. You know what? But I think it's time for them to maybe move on from him. He causes way too much of a distraction. Their offensive line is terrible. Maybe they get a great offensive lineman for him and whatever. But I always said he was an overrated superstar. I don't know how to describe it. He's great, but he's too much to handle. He is.
He's a distraction.
He is. And what have they done with him? He is not bringing a team to to the top. They made the playoffs last year and they lost.
Yeah.
He hasn't been a winning player.
And this was the year. I mean, and this is why I think Eli starts to shoulder the blame. And McAdoo and Eli both start to shoulder the blame a little bit.
It's time to move on from
You
Eli.
had Brandon Marshall. You had Odell Beckham Jr. That's one of the better wide receiver tandems in the league. And what have they done? They didn't do anything. They couldn't win it. They won one game.
This reminds me of Peyton, with the Broncos. He's washed up. He won a Super Bowl, but
Yep.
It's time to move on from Eli. It
I
has
agree.
to be the time.
I
And
agree.
the head coach. Get a new head coach.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? This is the New York Giants.
This is one of the biggest.
He's
sports
not a good
franchises.
coach.
Not a good coach for one of the most elite sports franchises.
Yes, they won 10 games last year, but come on.
It doesn't make a difference. I mean, Tom Coughlin's doing
It wasn't because of him.
Tom Coughlin's doing a much better job, doing what he's doing now than Ben
Listen,
McAdoo
I don't blame them for moving on from
Oh
Coughlin
no!
because it was time.
It was time to move on from him too.
Right.
But Ben McAdoo was obviously not the guy.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
And I hope they, well, listen, I just hope they're terrible for a long time. I just hope so.
I don't really disagree.
I'm happy that Eli's on the decline.
And
the Cowboys are on the rise.
I hope that the Giants.
'Cause I'll tell you right now, Davis-
declining and the Jets start.
Well, it was
start
like
on the
that.
rise
Davis
too.
Webb is not the guy, obviously. He's not the guy.
No.
He's not the guy. They have to draft a quarterback
Yeah, I agree.
this year.
Ravens.
So, yeah, Rams, right.
Yeah, they're both us Rams. Ravens at Titans. This is an interesting game to pick too.
The Ravens, Joe Flacco is terrible.
But they keep winning.
I know. It's like
They
the
keep
Dolphins.
winning.
Like the Dolphins. Who's a better quarterback right now, Jay Cutler or Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco by far.
By far?
By
Really?
far. I think Jay
Wow.
Cutler's the most one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
By the way, you
period.
saw the hit he took.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I don't know how he was still alive after that.
Listen, and he's another guy that gets all the because he won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So he'll always get all the shine, but that's the only reason why he got this huge contract. He's terrible.
He's awful.
He's played awful. He's got to be one of the worst quarterbacks this year statistically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. He's not
Their
a good
defense
quarterback.
is carrying the team.
Absolutely.
Because I know in fantasy, I have him in 2 leagues. Their
Yeah.
defense is awesome.
Buck Allen's playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, so they have weapons.
And
they-
Jeremy Maclin's been hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, Flacco had how long did he have weapons and it still didn't do anything? He hasn't played well for the past 3 years.
No, he has not, and the money I guess has gotten to him. But
Yeah,
that
it
hit
looks
was
like it.
brutal.
It
So
was.
To go to this game, the Titans. I think this is an easy win for the Titans.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. I think the Titans have. The Titans control their destiny. They have that division in the palm of their hands. They are the team to lose that division.
They have to start stepping up because a lot of people are high on them this year.
I was.
Especially you.
I
right?
was. I was big on them. I really thought they were going to have a
Right.
breakout
Mariota's
year.
got to start.
Mariota's going to start
carrying this team.
Yeah, he's got to start getting back onto where he was. And I really think that this could be the get right game for the Titans. They can win this game. I think that this could be a good start for them to at least win that division. Look, at the very least, they need to win that division to make the playoffs. Mariota needs to make the playoffs this year. That's it. I mean,
he does. This team in that division, got a lot of surprises. Yeah.
And the Texans going, with
The Colts aren't making it.
The Colts aren't doing.
The Texans
doing
are
well.
done.
I mean, Andrew Luck's not playing for the rest of this year.
Texans are done.
The Texans are done now with Tom Savage
You
as their
could
quarterback.
see 2 teams from this division making the playoffs, which is like unheard of.
Yeah, I
the
know.
Jaguars and the Titans.
Yeah.
It could be.
I mean, this is. I mean, we're going to get to the Jaguars in actually next game. But this is a big.
This is
going to
be the Ravens. The Ravens aren't going to score aren't going to score points from their offense. I don't think. This is going to be like a 24 to
this is
10 game.
This is one of those things where if you have the Titans or the Rams are on your waiver wire defensively.
Right.
These are the weeks to pick.
I'm
them
still
up.
playing my Ravens in my fantasy because never know what they can do.
Yeah, but the
I think
Titans
this is an easy win for the Titans.
I think so too. So now I just said we mentioned the Jaguars. Jaguars are playing the Bengals, and the Bengals have been so up and down this year. It's not even funny.
I really don't even. I haven't. There's like the one team that I haven't really been following. I don't even know much about what they've been doing this year.
The Bengals?
Seems like they haven't even played. Yeah, the Bengals.
Yeah, they feel like they barely
They're just
have.
blah,
Yeah, they are. They're just a middle of the pack.
And Marvin Lewis
team.
still has a job with the team.
Still has a job. And look, I mean, how much more are we going to deal with Andy Dalton in Cincinnati?
Right.
The Browns. How about how much they messed up? But they were trying to deal for the backup.
My gosh.
And couldn't get him.
McCarron. I always liked McCarron.
Yeah. I like AJ McCarron.
I always liked him in college. He's a winner. He's won in college.
I agree.
Championships in college.
And he hasn't gotten
and
the
that playoff
opportunity to
game.
score.
Listen, that playoff game was. They should have won that playoff game against the Steelers.
completely
Remember
agree.
that? Devontae's perfect went crazy.
I completely agree.
But I think the Jaguars. I think this is also another easy win for the Jaguars. But the Jaguars also. Listen, they're great in London. We know that.
Yeah.
They play every year in London, but at home, it's surprising they're not good at home.
Yeah, they're not a good home team. They are, and they're home this week. They're playing. They're playing against the Bengals. I mean, this is.
They have to win this game.
This is
inexcusable
big deal
for them to lose this game. They have to win this game.
This is going to be a big Leonard Fournette game.
Right.
I mean, this is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a big Leonard Fournette game. And let's face it, their running game has been solid even without when Fournette went down. T.J. Yeldon went off, and T.J. Yeldon hasn't even played all year.
Imagine if they had a quarterback.
I know, and I'm telling
you,
you,
Blake Bortles too is another guy. He's
there's
like Flacco.
There's a lot of rumblings that Colin Kaepernick might get signed to the Jaguars.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of rumors going around saying that.
I heard Eli Manning. They wanted to trade for Eli Manning.
I heard the same thing, and they didn't. They didn't.
Right.
And that's the thing that the big rumors.
You know what? Why not? I think Eli could actually be okay there if they did that. That would be a terrible move.
I don't think Eli's going to be good anywhere, but I mean that's just my opinion.
That's fine. That's true.
I think he's done. I mean, I just think he's at the end of his career. Look, I'm not going to take away the accomplishments that Eli Manning has had. He's done well. He was a good quarterback for the years where he was good.
Never missed a game.
He's done. Yeah,
he's done.
He's at the end of his career.
He's terrible.
It happens. Look, I love Peyton. Peyton's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time.
Look how
Peyton
bad
Manning
he was
done at the end of his career.
I know.
He shouldn't have been their quarterback.
It's amazing how they won a Super Bowl. Though.
It is amazing. I've never. That's like the 2000 Ravens. With their
Trent Dilfer. Yeah,
their defense winning the Super Bowl.
And Brad Johnson. Yeah. With the Bucks, yeah. But the Jaguars have to win this game.
I think the Jaguars win this game.
But you never know what's going to happen with Blake Bortles. You never know what he's going to be.
I agree. I mean, big news out of their camp too. I have to look this up now because I can't remember his. And I did do what I thought I did, which made it a lot harder for me to see what I wanted to look up. So we know that I think Marquise Lee still isn't playing.
Okay.
I think he's still out. And everybody thought, well, that's a really big thing for Allen Hurns, but from what it seems like, D.D. Westbrook is going to come back in week 9.
I did see that. I was thinking about maybe picking him up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a big it's going to be a big thing for them.
He was great in college.
Yeah, I think this is going to be this. I think he's going to lead.
Is he a first round pick?
He might have been.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of those things where, I mean, he comes back this week, you're going to see him leading targets.
Right.
And,
absolutely.
And it's the same thing. Another thing, we talked about the Titans earlier on. I mean, let's face it, their wide receiver core hasn't been doing well. Rashard Matthews hasn't played well. I mean, Eric Decker's almost been non-existent.
Delaney Walker's been disappointing.
Absolutely. Also. But Corey Davis comes back this week.
Right.
For them, and I think that's a big bump for the Titans too.
Right.
The Jaguars, they're getting a weapon back on offense.
Right.
Leonard Fournette is still playing like a monster. Even if it doesn't look like he really hurt his knee that bad. It looks like he twisted his ankle. Doesn't look like it was anything that bad. I think that the Jaguars roll over the Bengals this week.
I agree. And they need this win also to stay in the division race. They're 4-3. To get to 5-3 would be huge.
Absolutely.
For them, when was the last time they had this good of a record mid-season?
I don't even remember when they had. I actually don't remember them ever having a winning record.
It's inexcusable for them to lose this game.
I agree.
I think Leonard Fournette's going to be. You're right. He's going to be big for them.
Yep.
Jaguars all the way.
So this is one of those games that if you would have asked me like 3 weeks ago, that this is going to be like one of the games of the week, and now Broncos at the Eagles.
Just the Eagles are getting
destroy
Denver.
Getting
the easiest games. It's not fair. Cowboys have the hardest schedule ever, and the Eagles are getting.
The Cowboys statistically had the hardest schedule this year.
They did. Yeah, they had to. For sure.
100%.
And you see the stretch coming up now. But this is an easy win for the.
The Eagles are going to steamroll over them.
Brock Osweiler, oh man.
Yeah, the first week that Brock Osweiler starts is against the Eagles.
What's the over/under for interceptions in this game for him?
2.5. I would say at the very least 2.5. Yeah,
they're gonna destroy them.
Yeah. The Eagles are going to beat the crap out of them.
They are.
This is going to be I mean, they said that Blunt's going to start, but I think we're going to see a lot of Ajayi in this game. And I think that they're just going to steamroll over the Broncos defense. I mean the Broncos defense isn't the vaunted Broncos defense anymore. Right. It hasn't been for a while.
Right. I agree. Listen, I think if Trevor Siemian was decent, I think this could have been a good game. But Trevor Siemian's been terrible. If he was, I think they have a better chance with Siemian. I think Siemian.
I do too. I don't believe in Brock Osweiler at all.
But Paxton Lynch is hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
So they're just stuck with Osweiler. And who's their backup? Do they have a backup now? Oh, they have Siemian. What am I saying?
Yeah. I mean, Siemian.
Yeah. I want the Eagles to lose. I do, but they're not going to lose.
They're not going to lose.
They're going to be 8-1. Wow.
There's going to be a lot. And from here on out, there's going to be a lot of teams where I'm going to sit there and think, well, the Eagles just aren't going to lose.
But you know what? You got to listen. I'm not going to take it away from them. The Eagles are good. They are.
They're playing.
They're very good.
They are. I'm not an Eagles fan because I think that I live in New York, so Giants fans are obnoxious to me because I'm a Jets fan. But the Eagles fans are some of the more obnoxious fans in football too. Actually, that whole division has obnoxious football fans, except for the Redskins.
Right,
I don't think they really have football fans.
That's true. I'm not.
You're not. You personally. But
I'm a big homer. I'm a big.
Cowboys fans are obnoxious. I'm a Yankee fan, and I'll admit Yankee fans are obnoxious.
Right. Yeah. You know, I love my team.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Rome was the best ever. Okay.
So Colts to Texans.
Oh, what a game!
I
can't wait for this game.
This is gonna be a fun game to watch.
You know,
said
man.
no one.
Ugh.
Jacoby Brissett versus Tom Savage.
Yeah. But Jacoby Brissett, you know, honestly, he's been.
No, he's not bad. He's not bad. I don't mind him.
He's not bad, but he might be better than Tom Savage. I think.
I think me and you could play right now. We'll be better than Tom Savage.
Let's just flip a coin in this game.
No, I have a legit pick. I think that the Colts are going to win. I think the Texans without Deshaun Watson are a team that's lost.
Okay. I think the Texans. Listen, yeah, they lost Watt. I don't know. They're at home, so maybe
even still though,
there's
no JJ Watt.
They still have right. There's no JJ Watt. There's no Deshaun Watson. But oh god, flip a coin. I don't care.
The most you can see is maybe Lamar Miller has a good game, but even Lamar Miller, he's questionable right now. Right. I think he got a little banged up.
Gosh.
I don't think it's anything that's serious, but even still,
I feel bad. Oh, I feel bad for Deshaun Watson, man.
So do I.
Terrible.
But I'm going Colts. 100%. I'm going Colts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texans.
All right.
Just to go against you.
All right, fair enough.
They're at home.
I'll take it.
But not because of Tom Savage.
That's why I don't think they win. Tom Savage wasn't good enough.
They're gonna run a lot of screens. They're gonna run the ball.
But Tom Savage wasn't good enough to make it out of a one full game.
He's terrible. Who's their backup now?
Who knows? It could be me or you when we play better than Tom Savage.
Yeah, I agree. I think so.
So at this point, I can't. Jacoby Brissett's the better quarterback. I think Brissett has better weapons.
You're making me lean towards the Colts now.
It's Colts.
So I'm gonna go Texans.
All right. It's another week where there's a lot of big teams on bye, and this actually could shape up to be a pretty good, pretty decent game. The Redskins are against the Seahawks.
This game could be a lot like last week with the Seahawks and Texans.
I agree. I think Kirk Cousins has.
I think he's going to bounce back.
Yeah, I think
I think they're gonna. I think it's going to be a shootout, back and forth game.
But
the Seahawks are at home. They're not going to.
They are, and a lot. When it comes to Washington, a couple of big things coming out of there. Jordan Reed's not going to play, but I don't think Vernon Davis is much of a downgrade. As much as a lot of people would think, Vernon Davis will play. I think he'll play. He'll play well. In the game where Jordan Reed didn't play this year, Vernon Davis had a monster game. But the big problem is that it looks like Jamison Crowder is hurt. He didn't play. He missed practice with a hamstring injury. But Ryan Grant isn't a terrible middle of the field receiver either. I just don't know if Cousins has the firepower to go against Russell Wilson, who had one of the best games of his career last week.
And it's tough to go into that. That place.
Yeah,
going against doesn't lose at home either.
Yeah, going against those 12s, it's hard.
They don't lose. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game.
It's going to be a high-scoring game, but if I'm going to put my money on it, it's going to be the Seahawks.
Yeah, I agree.
Cardinals at 49ers.
Ew, what another good game.
You know what? I'm going to go out and say it. I'm going to do it.
You're taking the Niners?
I'm going to take the 49ers to get their first win. They're home. Look, their quarterback is, he's awful.
What a terrible week of
CJ Beathard. He's terrible.
Yeah.
But he's playing Drew Stanton, who's terrible.
Right, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with the team that I don't know has more talent. I guess,
yeah.
Somewhat more talent. They lost their whole team.
I think
Fitz is gonna have a big game. He's gonna lean on him.
If Drew Stanton could get the ball to him, I've never seen Drew Stanton. The 1 year I had Larry Fitzgerald as a big weapon in fantasy was the year that Carson Palmer went down and Drew Stanton could not get the ball to him.
This game is terrible too.
The reason why I'm going to pick the 49ers is I think that CJ Beathard has something to play for. The guy is like, oh, you know what? You're going to go out and you're going to draft a quarterback. I'm going to get you your first win this week.
No,
you're gonna trade for a quarterback.
I think he's gonna be terrible. I don't think
so. If you're not playing with that mentality, you need to not be a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but he knows he's not gonna be their quarterback either. No matter how.
Yeah, but I'm looking out for me and saying, look, hey,
I agree. Listen, I'm sure he's not gonna just fold.
Right. I think Carlos Hyde has a big game. The Cardinals defense is awful.
Right.
They have an awful run defense.
Right.
I think that the 49ers squeak by. They've been competitive in every game. This is the one game I can actually see them being competitive and actually.
I'm gonna go with Bruce Arians. Just coach him up.
Fair enough. Look, and I like the Cardinals. I've always liked the Cardinals. Yeah. I just think that this is the week I pick the 49ers.
Just another bad game.
It is.
That doesn't mean anything to anybody.
Yeah, basically, unless you're a fan of one of those two teams. And even if you are, it really doesn't. I think it really makes sense.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah.
I think the 49ers are just waiting to see Garoppolo. Chiefs at Cowboys, this is the game of the week. Hands down, the game of the week.
It is, but no Zeke.
But no Ezekiel Elliott. I
want to pick the listen, if they had Zeke, I think the Cowboys are going to win. I do. The Cowboys won 2 in a row. They played well the last 2 weeks. But I don't know. I hate picking the Cowboys because, listen, I picked the Jets this week, but if I wasn't a Jets fan, I might not. Dak has to have one of those big games like he does against the Packers, like Aaron Rodgers, like he does in those games. Games. He has to have one of those games. Des Bryant needs to step up.
Here's the thing. Look, all right, I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm picking the Chiefs. But if the Cowboys do want to have a shot in this game, they need to start off hot. They need to get off the ball very early. They need to run Alfred Morris and show that they're not afraid to run Alfred Morris.
Right, and they need to listen. The biggest problem in this game for me is Travis Kelce. He's ridiculous.
And
the Cowboys have a lot of trouble covering tight ends, especially them. He's by far the best tight end in football right now. Right?
Absolutely.
Do we agree?
Absolutely, 100%.
Gronk.
He's better than Gronk.
He's
better than even with Greg Olsen. If he wasn't
he's amazing,
hurt,
and he's
better than Greg Olsen.
Fast. The guy.
And just that big playability from Tyreek Hill.
He's the guy that bothers me the most. Kareem Hunt. It bothers me is the Cowboys secondary is just has never been good.
Right.
It showed signs this year.
And that's where I think that a guy like Tyreek Hill, he's always bound to rip off a monster play.
But it bothers me. Kareem Hunt in the backfield, they're going to toss it, throw some screens to him. Travis Kelce down the field. That bothers me the most. And Alex Smith doesn't bother me. He doesn't worry me. The Cowboys need to pressure Alex Smith.
Absolutely.
And get to him.
Absolutely.
And Dak needs to be great.
Yeah, Dak has to have a perfect game this week
and
in order for him to stand a chance.
And listen, Dak is usually always very good. And, I trust him. But you're right. They have to get off to a hot start. Des Bryant needs to step up.
And they need to put the pressure on Alex Smith to make throws downfield.
And maybe Jason Witten will have a big game.
Yeah, he's
sneakily has big games.
He does. He does. And but this is a big game for Dak and Des.
And if Alfred Morris can run for 80 yards, even that's a big thing for them.
Yeah. But this is a big game
You're
for
right.
Dak and Des.
They need to get off to a good start. But this could be a shootout also, this game.
It could be. If it becomes a shootout, I think it favors the Cowboys. But my thing is that Alex Smith, he doesn't throw interceptions, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and that's where I always lean towards the Chiefs. If a guy look, you can tell me on whatever team he's on, I don't care. I will always take the team where if a quarterback does not throw interceptions, the guy doesn't turn the ball over.
Right,
and like I said, Tyreek Hill has big playability. Kareem Hunt has big playability. So many weapons,
and it's just
Travis Kelce has big playability.
Anything that goes against the Cowboys in my years of watching them that has big playability, it just favors the other team. Their secondary has always been questionable.
Right.
So yeah, I'm worried about this game.
I would be too. Look, and Tyreek Hill. I'll talk about Tyreek Hill till I'm blue in the face because I just think he's so talented. That guy makes one cut and he's gone.
I know, and the Cowboys need to win.
They
need to win this. It's going to be tough without Zeke.
It is. It's going to be really hard. Look.
I don't want to say it is, but it's going to be.
The NFC isn't the stronghold that it used to be. So a part of me thinks that if the Cowboys can play well and maintain some level of success, they can make the playoffs this year.
Right.
But I just don't think this is the game. I think this is one of the worst games to have Zeke,
especially them coming off a big win. Monday night. It's going to be tough. I'm a Cowboys fan. I want them to win every game, but I'm realistic, and as I gotten more mature over the years.
Yeah,
I don't see the Cowboys winning this game. I don't see it happening.
Look, I feel for you.
You see the Cowboys next week. They're in Atlanta. Yeah. Look at their stretch. They have in Atlanta. Then they play the Eagles. Then the Chargers. Then the Redskins again. Then at the Giants. At the Raiders. Seahawks. And at the Eagles.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Except for the Giants, there's not an easy game in there.
The Cowboys really. This is big. They need to win this game. They need to win this game.
And even the Chargers aren't. Everybody talks about how bad the Chargers played this year. The Chargers haven't played bad.
And even if Alex Smith is terrible or goes down with an injury or something, they have Mahomes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. And who knows what that's going to be like.
Right.
Alex Smith is really.
Maybe he'll throw an interception this week.
He was playing for his job this year, and man, has he ever proved that he should still be that quarterback.
Oh yeah, and he's gonna. I'm curious to see where he's gonna go next year. He's not gonna be the quarterback next year. It looks like they love Mahomes.
If they go with Mahomes,
they're talking about it. He's a free agent.
There's a green jersey that I'd love to see Alex Smith wear.
Just
throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, so you know what? I don't know. I'm not gonna pick this game either. I just want to watch it, enjoy it.
I'm just throwing that out there. Alex Smith is a quarterback for the Jets, and the Jets don't draft a quarterback. They trade.
I like that.
They pick up Alex Smith off a free agency, and they bolster their offensive line.
I like that. He deserves a lot of money. He does. He deserves
I'm with it. I love it.
So you have the Chiefs.
I'm picking the Chiefs.
It's fine. I think the Chiefs also.
Here's another sneakily game that actually is going to be actually competitive. The Raiders at Miami.
Is Jay Cutler playing?
If Jay Cutler is healthy, he's playing.
Yeah. Listen, Jay Cutler's terrible. He's always been terrible.
I know.
He's always been terrible. I'm going with the Raiders. I'm going with Derek Carr over Jay Cutler. They have to win. The Raiders also another disappointing team this year.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch hasn't really done much.
No.
And they still have two other guys in the backfield. DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard. They're both talented guys.
They need to play like they did against the Chiefs. You remember that game, that Thursday night game? What a game! Oh, what a game!
Such a great
I'm going
game.
with Listen, the Raiders aren't usually good on the road either. When they go to the East Coast, historically they're not. But I'm going with Derek Carr over Jay Cutler.
Here's my thing. I think, in all honesty, I think that the Jets are a better team than the Dolphins. I really do. The Jets are 3 plays away from being 5-3.
Okay.
And and the Dolphins have a crappy quarterback, and they lost their best. They just traded away their second best player on their team. They have Jarvis Landry right now. Who else?
Right.
And I think the Raiders. I think that this is a game where if you want a get right game for a team like the Raiders, and you want a game where Derek Carr needs to step up.
Yeah.
This is
the game. This is their season. Also, they're 3-5. They go to 3-6. They're done.
Yep.
It's over. They need to win this game.
This is a must-win.
They're better than the Dolphins.
They're a better team than the Dolphins.
Their quarterback is infinitely better than their quarterback.
Yeah. He
has to, and I trust Derek Carr. So
do I.
He didn't play so well last week in Buffalo.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? It happens. I think
I love Derek Carr.
I think Derek Carr's great.
I would love to have him as my quarterback. But obviously, I wouldn't. I love Dak. But.
Right, but if you
Derek Carr is great.
Circumstances were different. Yeah,
they better beat the Dolphins too. Another team. They better win this game.
And another, our last game of the week.
A lot of games this week.
The Lions at the Packers. I mean, this could have been a halfway decent game.
Right.
And now there's no more Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I'm not picking the Packers in a game until I know who their quarterback is.
Right.
I have no clue who this guy is.
Brett Hundley?
I have no clue who he is.
Right.
But
you know what?
He came in cold. I'm not going to judge him on that. He came in cold.
Right.
But you're playing against Matt Stafford, who statistically could have a monster game.
Yeah, but you know what? Matt Stafford in Lambeau is not good.
Yeah, but
road.
It's Matt Stafford in Lambeau without Aaron Rodgers on the other side.
I agree. For some reason, I'm seeing the Packers. I think the Lions. The Lions are always disappointing.
You're not the first person to tell me this. I've talked to a lot of people about this game. A friend of mine.
Not because Brett Hundley is going to be really good, but he can run. He can get out of the pocket and run.
He can.
And they have weapons.
They do. But a friend
of mine.
They're
home. And it's Monday night.
A friend of mine asked if he should start Sterling Shepard or Jordy Nelson this week, and I said Shepard, and he was like, I don't know. I think they're going to play a lot of short game. And I think I'm going to go with Jordy Nelson. And I said, you know what? I agree, but I don't see it.
I think they're going to let him loose this week, Brett Hundley.
Here's my thing. If Golden Tate is back at being healthy enough that he's going to make a difference in the game, and if Kenny Galladay does come back this week, there's no doubt in my mind I'm picking the Lions.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the Packers because I think Hundley's going to have. I think he's actually going to have a decent game. I don't trust Matt Stafford on the road in Lambeau. They haven't been good.
I don't trust Matt Stafford
ever.
Okay. I
I
really don't.
They started off where they started off. They got what are they 3-0? Were they 3-0? They started off 3-0 or 3-1. Whatever. They lost 3 in a row. I think they lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, they lost 3 in a row.
Listen, that place is not easy to play either in Lambeau, not. Especially on a Monday night. And listen, they're not. Yeah, obviously the drop off from Aaron Rodgers to Brett Hundley is obviously like infinite, but
I mean it's night and day.
But I think he can be. If he doesn't turn the ball over, it's going to be a competitive game.
I agree. I mean, and look, he's had 2 full weeks now to prepare.
Right.
He's had the bye. He's going into this week now after learning. I mean, he knows. It's not like he doesn't know the playbook. It's not like he hasn't been there the entire season. It's not like they pulled somebody off the street. He can prove himself, and he does have weapons. Jordy Nelson is a talented wide receiver. I mean, there's a lot of guys in that system that are They have a puncher's chance. I refuse to take a quarterback. It's the same reason why I took why I won't take the Texans against the Colts, because I trust Jacoby Brissett more than a guy who couldn't play a full game of football. Got pulled for a rookie. Brett Hundley I haven't seen enough from him to sit there and say he's going to win a game.
That's fair. I just see a competitive game.
No, and you know what? You're probably right.
Listen, if the Packers are at the Lions, different story. But they're at home.
The Lions aren't a good team either.
They're not.
They're not. They've been disappointing this year.
Yeah. I mean, they have weapons. They have weapons, and they're just not using them.
A lot of, you know what? All these injuries have just ruined a lot of bad games. A lot of just games this year.
The quarterback injuries are the things that have really hurt the league this year.
It really has.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. I mean, Carr got hurt for a stretch. Mariota got hurt for a stretch. Carson Palmer went down. There's a lot of quarterback injuries. I mean, Cutler's not good, but even still, it's a starting quarterback of a team. Cutler went down for a week. It seems like it's going to be really good. Jameis Winston hasn't been healthy all season.
Right.
It's been one of those years.
But a team like on the bye this week, I just popped into my head, the Vikings. And they've been great this year.
Teddy Bridgewater might be coming back.
But are they going to play him? Because Case Keenum's been,
Case Keenum's been playing well.
He's been playing well.
But, I mean, how do you
They're legit. Listen, if they had, Teddy Bridgewater, they're a legit Super Bowl team.
100%.
They might be the best. People don't talk about them. Their defense is legit. That's for sure.
I even think if Sam Bradford didn't get shaken up in that first game and kept going the way he was going, I think they could have been all right, too.
I hate Sam Bradford. I don't think they're.
I mean,
I think they're better off with.
I don't hate Sam Bradford, but I don't.
Another guy who's, in my Jay Cutler territory.
I think it's different. I think Bradford's injuries just were the things that screwed him over. I think he was more talented than Jay Cutler.
Yeah, but the Vikings are a team.
The Vikings are a contender. Even with Case Keenum, even if they stick with Case Keenum, they're still a contender.
And the Super Bowl is in Minnesota this year.
Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. I mean, they both played well this year. Jerick McKinnon's come on to be a great running back this year. They're a good team.
They are.
And a lot of people thought that after Adrian Peterson was gone, there was going to be a lot of slack, a lot of fallback. Right. And even Peterson's playing well.
Yeah.
Again, he got traded from the Saints, and all of a sudden, his career is starting to come back a little bit.
Right.
It's so weird to know that Peterson's been in 3 uniforms now after we never thought we'd see him out of a Vikings uniform.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
And we were talking about the Raiders. I mean, Cordero Patterson, a longtime Viking out of nowhere is making plays for that team. I mean, I'm being honest with you now. The Vikings, I think the Vikings are a team. Is one of those.
Nobody's talking about them.
They're not. They're not. And you know what? It's the same thing as I said a couple of years ago when the Jets made the playoffs for the first time with Mark Sanchez. Nobody was talking about the Jets. And if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm happy nobody's talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. They're a team to watch.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, now we're talking about them. We might have just screwed them. All right. Well, that's week 9 in a nutshell. Interestingly enough, I was just looking it up. Me and you don't play each other in fantasy at all. We have to wait till the playoffs if we both get in.
We're not playing each other this year.
We're not playing each other at all.
Well, listen, it's going to come down to two best teams. So.
And you know what? Let that be us.
Let that be us.
Let that be us.
Exactly.
I have some competition in my division, but I mean, I think that a couple of games roll the right way this year for me.
Yeah,
I'll be all right.
We actually have I have 929 points and you have 931.
Yeah.
Wow, we're pretty,
we've been last week was a really disappointing week for me.
But we really have good teams.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we have the best.
You have the second most points. I have the third.
Right. I think we have the best running backs in the league.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think my running backs are just McCoy and Hunt.
And I have Melvin Gordon and Fournette. I mean, it's no slouches. And Carlos Hyde is my number 3.
Right.
I mean, I'm not. Look,
I'm surprised myself. I wasn't always big into fantasy football. I'm proud of myself.
No,
I made some mistakes.
I
drafted Matt Ryan way too early. I drafted him like the 5th round or 4th round.
Though.
Yeah,
it happens. Though.
I thought he was gonna be big, but the Kareem Hunt thing was huge.
I tend to not draft quarterbacks high, and my starter was Kirk Cousins. And I picked Alex Smith off the waiver wire, and I'm riding.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I think for quarterbacks, for me, that's that position where you can. Right. There are 32 starters.
Right.
32 guys, out of those 32 starters, maybe about 25 of them are playable.
Right.
And if people don't take backups, there's just bound to be somebody on the waiver wire.
Martavis Bryant, I drafted also like the 3rd round or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be big. Yeah.
How did he not get traded, though?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not dropping him.
No, I'm just saying, how did he not get traded?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't the Steelers get something for him? The guy doesn't want to play for their team.
I know, but teams don't want that guy who's who's going to be like that. They can give up for nothing.
I'll give you an example.
Send him to the Browns.
I'll give you an example of a guy that didn't want to play for a team and then went to a different team and was a monster. LeGarrette Blount didn't want to play for the Steelers, walked off the sidelines because Le'Veon Bell was getting every carry and Blount never played, and then he went to the Patriots and was a monster that year.
That's right.
I think Martavis Bryant could have went somewhere and made a difference.
But hopefully we go all the way, me and you.
I hope so. I hope we say that.
I think it's going to come down to that.
I hope so. I really look.
And you're a great guy, Albert, but I hope I win. But you know, if I lose, I couldn't lose to a better guy.
You know, I completely agree, but I really hope I beat the crap out of you.
I hope.
But fair enough. All right, so that was the Opening Whistle podcast coming in at week 9 for the first time this year. This might have been when we started last year.
Yeah,
I feel like it was close to this.
Yeah, I think so.
This is bad. All right, we have to do this more often. Next week we're gonna have to figure it out. Yeah. And there's some stuff to, I'll mention that later. That's off-air stuff that I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know why I'm doing this here. I'm not going to cut it either. It's just going to stay there.
Let yourself out. Yeah.
So for the Opening Whistle podcast, I'm Albert Albanese.
I'm Avi Schiffman.
Visit us. It's facebook.com/the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. You'll find everything that we post. That we do will be posted there. You can listen to it. It's great. Give the page a like. Support me and Avi. We kick ass. And we'll see. Hopefully, this means we'll see you guys next week.
We will.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Opening Whistle, which is a part of the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. You can find us on Twitter @the Slam Sessions. We'll see you guys next time.